What's up, comic book fans? Pete here from Comic Books Transformed with my good friend Brian over there. We like to discuss comics that have been adapted into movies and streaming shows. One of our favorite shows to cover is Fallout, which is back with season 2. We're now 2 episodes in, and Brian, I gotta say, I am just like all in the Fallout universe right now. What about you?
Nice. Yeah, I haven't downloaded Shelter again, but I probably will, especially more now. I'm 2 episodes in. I might, but
Right.
yeah, no, I'm excited. I'm sitting watching the show and I'm like I paused it so many times to like check things like to refresh my memory because it's a little bad because we're old. But yeah, I'm getting way more invested again, and I'm remembering a lot more than I did last time. Hopefully.
Yes. Well, our viewers, if they are constant viewers, they know that we forget things pretty frequently, so they can shake their heads. But I don't know. I always wonder if someone's checking out this review, is it because they like the Fallout games? If they like the Fallout show, do they just like to watch our show because of us? Like who knows what could be the reason? But luckily, I think that my Fallout knowledge is stronger this week than it was last week when we picked this up again.
Nice.
Yeah, I did like a little history like timeline review, and so the factions and stuff make a lot of sense, and that's really important for an episode like this one where a lot happens in this episode.
Yeah. Yes.
There's like 4 different storylines going on at least in this episode.
Yeah, and really they are just continuations of everything we saw in the last episode in the last season there. But yeah, we have Lucy and the Ghoul, we have Hank, we have Norm, and then we also have the Brotherhood now, which we didn't have last week. So yeah, we have this 4 major storylines going on here. They're all seemingly in different places, but you can kind of see they're going to come together over battling for this area here in Las Vegas, most likely.
Yeah. So we actually didn't get any Cooper flashback stuff this episode, but that's good because
but the flashback we got was really good though.
Okay, good. Perfect segue. Good job, man. Yeah, let's talk about that opening sequence, that cold open, because that was like not just for this show, but just like TV in general. That was an excellent fucking opening.
Yes. So we previously did have the knowledge that Hank McClane was the one that dropped the bomb on Shady Sands. But now we see this like prospering town full of people. It looks like normal life. And this would only be maybe like 10, 15 years prior to the present in this game. Show. Sorry, wrong word. The lines blur a lot here.
They do, yes.
I have to say, I absolutely love that this takes place in the world. It's a moment in time where we don't know what will happen. It's great.
Yep.
It's not something we often see with adapted media. It's a continuation more than an adaptation. So there's this incredibly prosperous town there. They find clean water. I'm assuming that's what tips off Hank to know that someone is tapping into some water supply that he has eyes on in some way. And he decides to blow them up so it's easier to take over everything that's left, which is the whole ideology behind what Vault-Tec wants to do. They want everybody to be gone or subservient so they can take over and have life and civilization be how they see fit. But just the seeing the family, you see Maximus's family, and you see them putting him in the fridge. It was heartbreaking to watch. And then you just see Hank's face, and he just stands up, and you see the Pit Boy saying, detonation occurred or whatever. And then he just goes and plays with Lucy like nothing happened.
Yep. Excellent sequence. Phenomenal acting from the parents, especially the dad. The main focus is on the dad in this sequence, and we see that he is a big force in this settlement where they're trying to like advance society, get society back to the way that it was. He just seems like such a positive guy, optimistic guy. He tries to defuse this bomb, and he is successful, but then we see that there was sort of like a fail-safe put in, and it was like, God damn. I mean, we knew what was going to happen, so it wasn't this big shock. But, even if you know that something's going to happen, all these little details can make it much more interesting and also just like exciting, right?
Yeah, no,
like
it makes it resonate more. Absolutely.
right. Like I kind of assumed that like bombs were just dropped from an airplane or like they were shot from a missile silo. I didn't think that a guy wheeling a cart into town was going to be the thing that was going to make that whole place blow up.
Yeah, I didn't either. Yeah, but yeah, the details like that and interacting with the characters beforehand, it makes the scene more impactful. I mean, the event more impactful for sure.
Yeah, I mean, like even like the little details of the guy bringing in the cart, and he's just like muttering something. He's saying something about water, I think, right? He's saying something like, "You'll need water with this irrigation," or some kind. He's saying like something over and over again on a loop.
I forgot what he was saying. He was saying there was some mention of location and some mention of some kind of something that needed to survive, but I don't remember what he said.
Yeah. So he falls over and he's got some kind of radiation poisoning. It's because he's brought this bomb with him. It's very reminiscent of The Stand, the end of The Stand, with this character named Trash Can Man, who essentially brings a nuke into Las Vegas. Speaking of which, spoilers for The Stand. I'm sorry, guys, but I don't know. I just really like that sequence. The child acting, like I don't know if it's the kid's fault. I don't want to blame the little child, or if it's the direction or whatever that he was given. But I felt like the child's response wasn't as severe as it should have been in that moment. I think he should have been like really terrified, and he just kind of looked vaguely sad. But the way the parents acted right before that bomb went off, that was just so good.
Yeah, I don't think they had a child would have the capacity to understand what was going on there. I thought his parents were just throwing him in a fridge, and he thought it was probably weird and it's a little scary. Maybe I did kind of was a little confused. I thought like he looked like he was laughing a couple times, like almost. But I don't know. I don't have an issue with it because like I don't think the kid knew what was going on. And if he did have an idea that something bad was happening, he definitely didn't know how severe it was.
Right. Well, you know what? Just for fun tonight, why don't you take your son and I'll take my daughter Clementine, clear out a fridge, and like go to stick them in there and be like, okay, it's gonna be okay, and then there goes the door.
Drink slowly.
Right. Let's see how they respond.
Oh God. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Good. All right. So let's continue on here. I think probably the least compelling storyline. I like when you and I kind of go like storyline by storyline. So let's go with the one I consider to be the least compelling. I want to see if you agree with me on this one. I felt like Lucy's story in this episode was the least compelling. Did you feel the same way?
Ooh. Well, it was exciting to see a rat scorpion. That was cool.
Right.
And I don't think it definitely feels more like less relevant, but I think it's just really it's an important part to introduce another faction that we haven't seen yet, which is the Legion, which is a bunch of dudes that dress like Roman centurions, sort of, and they have this whole like slavery-based ideology and all that, and that's a big part of the of one of the biggest factions in the Vegas area from the New Vegas game. And I have not played New Vegas, but I know a little bit about it. So I think it ultimately led to a good way to introduce that by using her naivety to showcase that everybody kind of sucks. The bottom line is every faction kind of sucks.
Yes. And I actually really want to talk about the Brotherhood of Steel eventually and how in general they suck, but then there was like individual factions within them that suck. So I want to talk about that in a little bit too. But I already told you this, so this might be boring for like 10 seconds. But the other day, viewers, I was watching the show. I was in a certain state, let's just put it that way, and I was playing Fallout Shelter on my phone.
Texas, right?
Yeah, I was in the state of Texas. Yes. I think we're part of the Commonwealth. And so I'm sitting there, and no, the Commonwealth is like northeast, but right. And I'm sitting there, and I'm playing Fallout Shelter, which I was like, I should be watching the show, but I'm kind of addicted again. And then a fucking rad scorpion attacks my vault. I'm like, oh shit! I like kind of snapped out of it. I was like, I gotta give these people good guns and stuff. because they're more severe. And then like literally once I'm doing that, a rad scorpion jumps out of the lockers in that episode. I was like, oh my, what the fuck is going on? You know, like I thought one was going to jump out of my Christmas tree or something. You know,
it's all your fault, Pete. That's why I had the least compelling storyline, because you were playing shelter.
Well, so that part I felt like was the most compelling part. The fact that you're talking about the Legion and how they're like kind of what they are, that's much more interesting to me now. Now I'm kind of excited to see what happens with her. But that was a great sequence of the Rad Scorpions attack because they looked cool, first off.
Yeah.
But then besides that, there's this great part where she has one stem pack, and there's this woman that is hurt, and then the ghoul is hurt, and she decides to save the woman instead of the ghoul.
Yeah, because the ghoul was generally saying like, "Oh, these people aren't worth it," blah blah blah. But he didn't really give her a reason why. But it'll serve as a nice lesson ultimately, I think. But the I guess I like the weight of the statement the woman says when they're talking and they're walking back. She's walking her back to her base or whatever, and she says like, "Oh, I hope the wrong people don't rape you," or something like that. And it was just like what the fuck?
Yes.
And I was thinking about like the wording in there. Like, does that mean that like just about anybody would rape you, or there are some people that would rape you that would be worse than others? And I just thought about like the severity and weight of that line.
Yes. Brian, just hearing you say that, I was kind of just watching a car accident in like slow motion. As far as like YouTube censorship, I'm like, well, there goes that.
It happened in the show. We don't advocate for anything like that, but it's a word, it's a line they used in the show.
No, I know. I'm just joking. Like YouTube in general is so sensitive that like they censor out fuck, like, which, you know, I say fuck like 15 times per recording. Like a lot of times people will say things like grape instead of saying.
Oh, that's right. You know what? I should have used that instead. Oh well.
Who gives a shit? It's fine. You know, we have our 12
monetized.
Right. Our 12 diehard fans are still watching here. Maybe they have a little chuckle, but yeah. I mean, this episode, it's funny because it's such a bleak future or alternate future, but the real nasty stuff, they don't really show that as much. It's like violence is often very kind of over the top and cartoonish in this show, but like a line like that is very disturbing. And then later on, when we're talking about the Brotherhood of Steel, this one guy calls a woman the C word, and I was like, whoa, shit, that's pretty intense.
Yeah. There's definitely some forms of degeneracy that's more appropriate to use to show things like that, and that what I mentioned before was not one of you normally see in a show like this. Like there is, I know this is a mature rated show, but there is some standard of decency within it generally. You know, like I wouldn't show it to a kid or anything like that, but you know, like that would be going to a different kind of level of something. You know,
right? Exactly. And it's funny though, because there is like such ridiculous violence. There's this montage when Hank is testing the chip on a bunch of rats, and we just see them exploding like constantly against the glass. He then eventually at some point tries the chip on this one guy that he's awoken from cryo sleep, and then that guy blows up. You don't see his head blow up, but like the camera pans. Yeah. I mean, you don't see any of the rats blow up either. You just see the blood on the glass too. But it's done in such a flippant way where Hank just like kind of looks, you know, he just goes on again. You know, he doesn't feel for the rats for a second. I don't think he feels for that guy. But Brian, I bet you noticed that it seemed like Hank picked that guy for a specific reason, right?
Yes, because the whole ideology they have is the family is a building block of their ideal civilization there. So this guy was a rich guy. He paid for his premium service to have some kind of extra benefits. I don't know what those benefits would be, but he only bought a ticket for himself, not his family. So yeah, he was kind of like a least desirable kind of person there, you know?
Yeah, stone cold. Yeah. And while we're talking about Hank, because I think we kind of covered the Lucy thing, with Hank, we do see him in the very beginning, like you mentioned, that like when he receives the news that Shady Sands was destroyed, and there's a tight close up on his face. What I really liked was they used the de-aging effect on Kyle MacLachlan.
Yes.
So he really looked like Agent Cooper from Twin Peaks. I was like, oh, that's
yeah,
good.
he did. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so we covered Hank, we covered Lucy. I guess then at this point we could go into the Brotherhood stuff, right?
We didn't talk about Norm, but there's not a lot really to say. So Norm basically wakes everybody up. He takes out Bud. He throws Bud Askins in the garbage can, and then he just kind of lies to people, saying like, "Hey, I'm in charge, and this is a test to see if you're worth it and help me get out of here." And they end up making it to the surface. Now, the only thing I really have to say about that is I'm kind of wondering what their purpose is going to be.
Right.
Here, and I wonder if their storyline lies with what's happening in Vegas, like if Norm's going to go look for Lucy, or if he's going to have something to do with the other vaults in the 31, 32, 33 area there. Because we didn't see any of those characters this episode either.
Hey, that's a really good point. I don't know where he's going. Yeah, just like you said, like sometimes in TV shows, characters do things and it's not because it's like part of this greater overarching plan. It's just they are like, what's the next step? What the hell do I do? I got to get out of the situation. And then a lot of times they'll like run into a different character and that will affect where they're going. I kind of have the vibe that that's what's going to happen, is that this group of vault dwellers is going to encounter somebody else and then that's going to affect where they go.
Yeah, I mean, the best thing I thought of, I mean, this is really stupid, really, but does he just like go to the other vault and gather all the people and they just go like march to Vegas and there's some big stupid war like Anchorman 2 when everybody stands around and yells and fights each other?
Hey, the way things are, you probably aren't too far from what's going to happen,
Yeah.
I was going to ask you though, like, don't you feel like this show really captures the vibe of Fallout Shelter when it comes to the dwellers? Like, don't you kind of feel like as a person playing Fallout Shelter, like I'll read their dialogue sometimes when you like zoom in on them and you see what they're saying to each other, and it's that their attitude like perfectly syncs up with the show. It's like this sort of like super positive naivety, and I feel like like and they say things that like it's kind of ironic what they're saying. They're not trying to be ironic, but they're like, oh, well, that guy just was on fire for 5 minutes, but just spray him off and he'll be good for tomorrow. Like that's how they talk,
Yeah, it's like that that kind of fictional version of like the 1950s. Really, it's just like that's what the whole thing of Fallout is civilization stopped in the 1950s. And it's kind of been at a standstill there since, and so that there is that faction of people that's just like, leave it to Beaver, sort of.
Yes. But then you have this sort of medieval type society with the Brotherhood of Steel, and in this episode, we see a whole bunch of different factions of them. It seemed like one of them was pretty freaking misogynistic, huh?
Yes. Yeah, there were definitely some flaws in those characters for sure. What was going on with that guy with like a hole in his head?
I know. Yeah. He wasn't the one that dropped the C-bomb. It was the other guy who's. Do you know who that guy is? I don't know the actor's name, but like he was like fucking. What's the one in Mortal Kombat that has like the skull mask that's in Mortal Kombat 2? Is that Shao Kahn?
Yeah.
Because Shang Tsung is the first one, right?
Yeah,
the first bad guy?
Shao Kahn, yeah.
Okay, so like in Mortal Kombat 2, they have like a white guy play Shao Kahn.
Yeah.
And he's also that guy that was in the X-Files, show. Like, do you know that blonde actor? He's the guy.
Blonde actor. No, I don't remember.
He always had like, yeah.
I'll have to look it up. I don't recall. I mean, it's been a long time since I've seen Mortal Kombat 2.
Oh, okay. He always is like a supporting character on like sci-fi, like genre shows. Like he's in Buffy, but he plays like 4 different characters because he's always wearing makeup. You know? Yeah. Whatever. He's just one of these like 4 factions of assholes, and they all keep talking about the Commonwealth. Now, the Brotherhood of Steel and the Commonwealth are two separate entities, right?
Well, so this is where I was confused. So I'm assuming they mean the chapter of the Brotherhood that's from the Commonwealth. That's what it seems to me. Is they're kind of naming everybody by where they're from, but it's a little. They didn't really name them that in the games. Like they're called like more specific things.
Right.
I don't really remember anything off the top of my head there, but I guess it makes sense to just kind of refer to them by their regions, so to speak. So the one from the Commonwealth would be like the greater Massachusetts area, which is where the fourth game takes place. Yeah, the fourth game is the Commonwealth, and the third one is DC.
Yeah. It's okay. I mean, that's the thing, right? This world, it has such a rich lore, but a lot of it feels like they almost just kind of want to cram ridiculous things into the lore too, you know? Like at one point in this episode, they open up this like cache of things that they discovered. The Brotherhood of Steel guys that are led by Maximus, and like they see an awesome red car. They're like, let's take it outside and see what this can do. But they're really talking about a gun that they use to blow up the car, right?
And my favorite thing was the icebox.
Right. I was basically setting you up to say that. Yeah, because that's the fight. Because there's a fucking alien in the icebox, right?
Yeah, there's an alien because the warehouse they uncover is Area 51. So there's an alien in an icebox, and they say like, oh wow, an icebox.
Right. You know? Yeah.
And I loved all the little bits where you see like the knights in the power armor. They're just like tossing around grenades, accidentally turning them on and shit. And Maximus has to go over and like, no.
Right. Yeah. They're so stupid. They're just like big dumb jocks, you know, in these crazy suits of armor. Yeah. But dude, didn't you think that like the fucking, I guess you'd call it the cinematography. Maybe it's really like the production design. But like I was watching all these scenes with them raiding Area 51 and Maximus seeing what they can do in their airships and stuff, and I was just like, this looks like a regular fucking movie. Like this is amazing.
Yeah, it looked fantastic. Yeah, the when you see the vertebrates flying around and shit, and just I also just love that you see these things flying around and like it must cost an unimaginable amount of like fuel and resources to keep those things flying because they're like it's like fucking like jet engines facing down to keep them hovering in the air. You know, it's like the most inefficient thing possible. You know,
like a shield helicarrier.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's just like it's. I guess it's just like a commentary on the military. I don't know. You know, and this kind of excessive force and use of things in the name of whatever they're trying to do. But I really that was the kind of the thing that I saw throughout Maximus's story was that like he's sort of on board here because he's in some kind of place of honor now because everyone thinks he killed Moldova. Wait, what's her name?
Moldova.
Moldova. Yeah. He even corrects somebody by saying the name right, and I can't remember it myself.
All good.
But
that's our brand.
He's kind of in this like heightened position now, and he's kind of all in it, but he's also seeing the cracks. He's also saying like, this is not what I wanted here. This is not what I signed up for. There was that scene where he's talking to that like subordinate of his, like there's like a teen boy, and he's saying like, oh, like, you know, in order to make a big change in the world, you have to, you know, sometimes you need to just do something small first to better yourself and whatever, so you can get to that larger goal. And then I love the look that he gives after he fights that guy in like the barehanded fist fight, and you see this kid's like cheering because he just murdered somebody, and he's like, "Fuck, man, this is not what I wanted out of this." And I loved his reactions in this episode here. It was fantastic this episode.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, when he gets into that fight with that guy who's like clearly bigger, more muscular, just like much more intimidating. I kept thinking to myself, like, how's he gonna get out of this? Because if this guy like beats him, I mean, first of all, this guy could just kill him, which is very likely.
Yeah.
But then if he was to beat him thoroughly, I feel like that would be too quickly that he would be like knocked down a peg. Like he kind of needs to be in this role right now where the story's going.
Yeah.
And so he just fucking kills that guy, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was like, okay.
And everyone's like, yeah, good job.
Good job murdering that guy, like slicing him open by like the stomach. You know?
Yeah. Oh man.
Nasty. So then it ends with Kumail Nanjiani just like showing up. It like I felt like the way his ship flew in and the way it looked and the way it landed, I felt like it reminded me of Dune, like the first Dune, a lot.
Sorry to interrupt you here. It's really funny that that Kristen walked out when I was watching the show, and she said, "What is this, Dune?"
There you go. There you go. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, but that's the thing, Brian. Right? Is that for a show that is about like the post-apocalyptic wasteland, it has some really beautiful shots.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Like there's just some shots of like her walking, Lucy walking with the ghoul, like in the desert, and the way that the shot is set up, it's just so exciting to look at. It's just beautiful.
Yeah, no, they make the wasteland look good. I mean, I still wouldn't want to live in it, but you know.
Right. So, what do you think is going to happen with Kumail Nanjiani's character?
Yeah, so that was really interesting because the way the what is that guy's name? I forget, Quintus, something like that. The way he greets him was very interesting. So I'm kind of wondering if he's like, oh fuck, we got found out, or it's more like he's sort of like an inside man on the other faction because he calls himself a liaison to the Commonwealth. So is he like a traitor to the Commonwealth essentially? Is he going to help them, or is he up there to cause trouble because he heard about this meeting they weren't invited to, or was that like a joke entrance sort of? Because he seems to be kind of welcoming to him when he after he talks.
Yeah, I feel like your second guess is probably the correct one, where it's like he's actually working, like he's okay to betray the Commonwealth with these guys, right? Because I feel like they would turn on him right away if they thought that he was with the Commonwealth.
Yeah.
But I feel like his role, just based on his short interaction, is going to be to kind of like undercut Maximus and question Maximus's legitimacy.
Yeah, that seems like a good idea. The way they eye each other up, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, I mean, how many episodes are in this season? Do you know?
No idea. I'm gonna guess around. I think the first season was 8.
Probably 8. Okay.
10? I have no idea. I'm guessing.
I think it was 8, if I remember correctly. But that's fine, So then we have essentially 6 more weeks. They might like double it up or something. Maybe there's 5 more weeks. That's great. I'm sure probably by the time this is done, there'll be something else to cover.
Yeah. We should hit the January time where we should. I mean, the next thing we should would be Wonder Man, I think. So all
right,
in the show.
Yeah. Oh wait, did we talk about that live or did we talk about that before we recorded?
Oh God, I don't remember. So yeah, we were talking about Wonder Man before we recorded. Maybe it was after we started. I don't know.
Okay.
But Wonder Man's coming, and this show here that comes in January, and this show here should end with episode 8 in February, the first week of February. So yeah, we'll definitely be covering multiple shows by the end of it.
Boom. Okay, cool. Well, it's a pleasure to record this show. Did you have anything else that you want to say about this episode of Fallout?
No, I think I'm good.
Boom. Nice and sweet. Right under the 30-minute mark. Yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. We want to wish you guys a Merry Christmas or any other holiday that you celebrate. Thank you so much. And of course, this will probably come out before New Year's. So our next recording will be after New Year. So Happy New Year to you as well. And you can come watch our balls drop next time.